Is there any company that has a better evolution over time since 1963 than Porsche, and specifically the Porsche 911? So here we have the original Porsche from 1963. I'm going to walk you through all of the generations up until the 2013 one, and then we're going to have a look at the current one and also show you what basic changes happens over time here. And then what I want to do in this video is take the Porsche 911 GT2 RS Club Sport 25 and take that rear end and apply it onto the current Porsche 911 Turbo. I love the rear end of the Club Sport and I want to see what it will look like on the 911 Turbo. I think it's going to look absolutely insane. But first, let's have a look at the design DNA of Porsche here and just how special of a model the 911 is. They've kept basically the same shape over time since the 1960s, which is pretty much unheard of when it comes to design language, to keeping it up for this long. If you see a Porsche 911 in a silhouette, there's no mistaking that it's something else. It has to be a 911, and that's because we're so used to these lines here that we have. So we have this line right here, and then we have, of course, the greenhouse going something like this, and the baseline. So this is a traditional style of what a Porsche 911 is. The fact that Porsche basically only uses 3 lines to design the 911, all from the 1963 model up until today, it makes for a very beginner-friendly car to sketch. If you want to learn how to sketch cars, I think the Porsche 911 is a really good example of how you can get the proportions right just by looking at an existing Porsche 911 and take inspiration from that, and then use these 3 key lines that defines all 911s, and then try to visualize the car just using a side view like I'm doing right here. We go further down to the second generation, we see that there are some changes here. For example, we have some regulations now coming into play, which means that we need bigger or larger bumpers. They need to withstand a certain amount of speed collision. These parts right here, this is sort of like a spring, a rubber spring, so when you hit the bumper, you kind of don't mess up anything else on the body except for maybe the front of the bumper, and they're elastic too, so it will dampen the impact. You don't have that here on the first generation, and that's why I think the first 1963 is a lot more beautiful than the second model, although this is pretty cool as well. And then if we go down to the 1988 model, the 964, we see that this line is still intact. We still have the same line, and how they worked with the bumpers here now is that they integrated the bumpers better into the bodywork. We don't have this typical, specifically here in the US. When you imported the European cars to the US, you usually got these big benches for as bumpers, and it totally ruins the look of the car. Specifically, if you look at the Lamborghini Countach has something like that as well, and you have the Mercedes SLs from that time. The European bumpers versus the US bumpers, such a big difference there. Obviously prefer the European bumpers, which doesn't stick out as much, and the BMWs of the time as well had the same problems. Moving on, we have the 993, the last air-cooled Porsche right here. 911, we still have the same kind of dip in this line here, and I want you to keep in mind this line right here, the rear shoulder, how it's still, up until the 993, still dips with a continuous curvature like that. And then we have the greenhouse up here and the baseline, traditional 911 lines going back all the way to 1963. But what's happening here though, starting to happen, we can see in the 993, is that the rear taillight, the taillights here, they're starting to move up a little bit further and further and further up, higher up on the body, the further along we come in the 911 generation. And this is the 996 with you have the controversial front headlights, which some people call a cracked egg or something like that, because it looks like an egg has just cracked and melted onto the front end of the car, and that created the design of the headlights. I personally really like the style of these headlights. I think that has a lot to do with me playing a lot of Need for Speed at this time, and the Porsche 911 was in that game, and I loved that car. I didn't really mind the innovative design of the front headlights. I still think this looks really cool, and these are a bargain today. You can get these for $20,000. You can get a very, very nice 996, really good sports car for that type of money today. But you can see here, we're still moving further up with the taillights right here. It's interesting to look at, but we still have the same dip here up until the 996 as well. Now this is where things starts to change with the shoulder line. You can see that we don't really have the same kind of dip here now. It doesn't slope down in the rear end. Instead, we're starting to get more of a traditional sports car two-seater line right here with the 911. And of course, the taillights are getting slimmer. They're pretty much in the same spot as the 996, but the 997 still has some more angles and styling to the taillights right here. And the bumpers, of course, by this time in 2004 to 2013 are very integrated in the body. So let's have a look at the current generation 911. You can see that the taillights now sit very far up here compared to previous generations. It almost looks like it could be mistaken for an Aston Martin in some angles if you look at it from a rear view. And that has all to do with the how high the taillights now sit. I've made a redesign on this channel where I move down the taillights and I make them look more in tradition with the 70s and 80s 911s, and I think it looks really cool when we experiment with that. But if we look at the last model, the up until the 2013 model, we saw that something started to happen with the shoulder line right here, and it even emphasizes that even more in today's the 2021 911, because you can see now we definitely have lost the slope right here, and instead we have this traditional looking bulge here over the rear fenders. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that or not. It feels like the 911 is moving more and more towards just looking like a regular sports car and less like the traditional 911 lines, specifically in this area right here with the taillights sitting so high now. And we have this line right here compared to the previous generations all the way up to the 1963 model, where we don't have any sort of indication that we have some sort of line that goes like this or beefiness over the shoulder, but this is still a very beautiful surface. One of the most recognizable surfaces, I think, of car design of all time is just this piece of the 911, which we're kind of moving away from here if we compare how this shoulder line is developing over time. Now, what I want to do here is take the CLUBSPORT rear end, which we have right here. This is actually the previous generation graphics in the rear here, even though it is a 2022 model. But what I want to do is take the rear end here and apply these wings and everything. How it looks like the rear end kind of sits inside of this hole in the rear end. And it looks very race inspired. Reminds me a lot of the Porsche 911 GT1 from, I think, 1996. They have both the race version, and they also made a street going version of the 911 GT1 that has about 540 horsepower, something like that. Super light, but the rear end of that car looks similar to the CLUBSPORT right here. And I want to have sort of a package from Porsche that you can pick to choose the CLUBSPORT rear end for the 911, because I have a feeling it's going to look absolutely insane when we apply the CLUBSPORT rear end onto the 911. So let's see how that is going to turn out. All right, so this is going to be a pretty quick redesign here. Not a lot of complicated things to do, and these are basically in the same angle going into this redesign, so there's not a lot of perspective issues we're going to have. What I'm going to do is just take the rear end of the CLUBSPORT that they just released, and it's interesting because we're still waiting on a GT2 RS from the 2021 Porsche 911. We don't have a GT2 RS yet, but we do have this version right here, which builds on the previous generation when it comes to the rear end graphics of the CLUBSPORT. But what I want to do, I don't want to take the graphics of the rear end. However, I do want to take the aerodynamic features of the CLUBSPORT rear end and apply it onto the 911 Turbo S here. As I said, I think this would be cool, even though it might be a triple wing design now. Maybe a little bit too much when it comes to the wings, because in this package we have a ducktail that sits underneath the turbo ducktail, and on top of the turbo ducktail you obviously have the wing that extends up. So it's going to be like a triple wing, sort of like the Escort Cosworth back in the day. that has the triple wing in the rear end as well. Could be something cool, but I think overall it's going to suit this design and just make it feel like a racier version of the original Porsche 911 Turbo design. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.